Okay, so let's talk about number 19. It says the span of a regular hexagon, and it shows you what the span is. So essentially it just goes straight across, is 30. Find the hexagon's area. So first of all, a span of 30 is going to tell me that the apothem is 15. So that's good news because now we have the apothem. So for the area of your regular hexagon, we're going to do 1/2 times the apothem, which is 15, times the perimeter. So essentially we just need that perimeter. To do that, we are going to build in our triangle, our right triangle. So we have this right triangle right here. And again, because this is a regular hexagon, we know that this turns into a 30, 60, 90 every time. And so what they're doing is they're giving me the side across from the 60. So the x root 3 side is equal to 15. Divide by root 3, divide by root 3, multiply by root 3, multiply by root 3. You end up with 15 root 3 over 3, which is the same thing as 5 root 3. So this bottom is 5 root 3, which means this is 5 root 3, which means all of the sides are 10 root 3. There are 6 sides at 10 root 3. So I'm going to erase the perimeter over here, and I'm going to say that the perimeter is 60 root 3. So the overall area of this is going to be 30 times 15, 450 root 3. Okay? And essentially you do the same thing for all of these problems. Okay? So I'm not too concerned with C for you guys finding the formula. I mean, it would be super cool that you understand that the apothem ends up being S divided by 2, right? So whatever S is, this is S divided by 2. And when you end up building your right triangle in this 60-degree angle, so this S over 2 is always equal to the x root 3 side. And if you were to go through and solve this and divide by root 3, and you have S over 2 root 3, and you multiply by root 3, multiply by root 3, multiply by root 3, multiply by root 3, you end up with S root 3 over S root 9, which is the same thing as 6. And so what happens is that means that this side is S root 3, I'm losing it, over 6. And so that means that the entire bottom is twice that. Okay, so it's twice that. So this is 2s root 3 over 6. And then of course you have 6 of them. Okay, you have 6 of them. So what happens is it just ends up being that the perimeter is 2s root 3. And then, of course, you have your apothem as S over 2. So if you went to go find the area of this shape, it would be 1/2 times the apothem, which is S over 2, times your perimeter, which is 25 root 3. So 2s root 3. I'm losing my brain. 2s root 3. Thought that was a 25. So when you go to multiply this, you just multiply straight across the top. So this ends up being 2s squared root 3, and you multiply across the bottom. You have a 4 there. And then, of course, you can simplify this 2 and 4 down, so it ends up being s squared root 3 over 2. So whatever the span is, it's the span squared with a root 3 on it over 2. Again, if you did not come up with the formula, no big deal. And then the last one, number 20. Let's talk about number 20. So 20 wants us to find the apothem of a regular octagon. So it's completely up to you how you would like to solve this. I personally like to find my internal angle and use trig. But there's tons of different ways you guys can build this if you'd like to. I'm going to show you guys how I would do it. So find the apothem of the regular octagon. So first of all, what I would probably do is I would create my 8 congruent triangles right here. And so I would do 360 divided by 8 to get this angle. So let's do 360 divided by 8, 45. So this angle right here ends up being 45, which means all of these top angles end up being 45. Okay. And so what I would do then is, let's erase this. So that's where I would start personally. So after I know that this entire angle is 45, I would cut it in half because I'm looking for the apothem. And I would say that 45 divided by 2, this angle right here is 22.5. And from there, I would use trig. So I would say that 5 is my opposite side, and x is obviously my adjacent side. So that means I'm using tangent, TOA, O and A. So I would say the tangent of 22.5 is equal to the opposite side 5 over the adjacent side x. And I would go through and solve this. So x equals 5 divided by the tangent of 22.5. And then obviously you can get a number from that. But there's tons of ways that you guys can go about solving this. Of course, I can't erase this. Let me just get my eraser. I think the book, I feel like the book has you guys drawing in a square. And the reason is because this is an octagon, so this apothem and this apothem are equal to each other. We know that this piece right here is 5. And when you build this out, we don't know how big that is, and we don't know how big this is. But it does end up being an equilateral triangle. Not equilateral, 45, 45, 90 triangle. So you can solve for this x piece if you take a look at this 45, 45, 90 triangle. And again, if you forget 45, 45, 90, guys, x squared plus x squared equals 10 squared. 2x squared equals 10 squared. X squared has to be 50, and then you take the square root of that and you get 5 root 2. Okay, so you can always do that with a 45, 45, 90. So this side ends up being 5 root 2 and 5 root 2, which means that the apothem right here is 5 plus 5 root 2. Now again, just a different way of doing it. If that makes more sense, you know, stick with that. And there's plenty of others as well.